Hi guys, welcome to our edition of Panic Man 10. This time around I got another build for you and it's called True Pacifist. Not just a pacifist, but an actual true pacifist. I see a lot of people out there making builds on pacifists and they really don't understand what it means to be a pacifist because there's like certain um, quests that you have to do in the game that requires you to fight. And actually, that's not true. And I'll explain how you get around those things, such as this one with Bleak Falls Barrows, okay, which I'll show you here in a second. So, being a true pacifist, um, let me just go down what I've written down here on paper for you, to make this easier. And then we'll just go from there and then I'll walk you through the whole character, okay? So we're into restoration, alteration, illusion. We use close, calm, heal others, no followers, imperial, voice of the emperor, thief or mage stone. I went with a thief on this one. Pick locks, no casting spells to influence others to kill each other. Golden claw. I'm going to show you how we can do that because we can actually pick the item off of the character. And guilds, no Dark Brotherhood and no Fighters Guild. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. So let's get into this a little bit more deeper now. So what are you going to do? Okay, well, here's the thing. Magic right now, all I got that I can use is Restoration. Okay, and we have Voice of the Emperor, which allows us to calm everyone. This is why we went the Imperial way. Okay, all right. The only kind of items that we're going to have is things like the pickaxe and the wood axe. This allows us to get money by either chopping wood or, going around and mining stuff as we come across things in our adventures, okay? All right. We're not allowed to have any followers. We use clothing only. We do not use armor, okay? So we use clothes and that's it, all right? We can make potions. We'll talk about this here in a second. We can make food. Oh yeah, we got this now. So this is one of the things that we can do. I totally, and we're into that too as well. I totally did things here in a weird way, and that is I just totally bypassed the whole thing. So let me walk you through the map first, okay? As you can tell, I literally just started. So what I did was, you go to Helgen to get your head chopped off. I went down the left side and I just looted everything. I left the guy there to fight, okay, and I just took off out the door. Like he was taking on the two guys, so I took off out the door, okay? Remember, we're true pacifists, which means we're not into fighting at all. Like, period. We cannot have followers that will fight for us. We cannot, sit around and loot dead bodies when someone else... We can't do anything with fighting. We can't have any followers that are along those lines that fight and everything like that. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? So, all I did was I ran like heck all the way through to the very, very end. I opened the drawbridge and ran across the drawbridge. I left everybody to the fighting because I just went straight through the whole thing, okay? And then when I come out the other side, I was totally by myself and I made my way to the Mage's Stone. So I did this. Then I took the river. Now you want to go down the river because then you avoid conflict with the dogs. Like I said, a true passive build, okay? So along the river, I was run down by the river after you go here, right? Go along the river down to Riverwood, okay? And you're going to go in the river literally. Like you're going to swim down it and you're going to shoot the rapids, okay? This is what I did, okay? And then you're going to catch the fish as you go along if you see any fish lying around, and you're going to catch them, okay? Once you get to Riverwood, then here, you're just going to loot whatever you can loot, kind of thing, right? Because, we're just here, taking stuff that's available. We're not a thief, okay? All right? And I'm going to explain all this here in a second, okay? And then eventually you unlock Bleak Falls Barrows. This is going to be done later in the game, not right away because of our skills, and I'll explain that a little bit later, okay? We can do just about anything in this game that we want to, except for, like, we can join the Mages Guild so that we can get the spells that we want, like Restoration and things like that. And when it comes to the Guardian Stones, you want either the Thief Stone or the Mage's Stone. Now the stone that gives you all of the abilities, I forget where it is right now, and I forget what it's called, so I apologize. But there's a stone out there that gives you all of the abilities that allows you to level up equally, kind of thing. Ideally, that would be good because then you can do your thieving and your magicka at the same time. If you know the one I'm talking about, I forget right now, okay? So for right now, you're either going to go with magic or you're going to go with thief, okay? I chose the thief stone so that it makes picking pockets easier so I can level that up quicker, right? And actually, now that I think about it, I might go back and take a mage, and do the magic one, right? I didn't stick around for the fights in Helgen or anything like that. I just ran right by everything, and I mean literally everything. I didn't engage anybody. I didn't wait for anybody to fight for me or anything like that. I just ran like heck, okay? Like I said, went to the stones, picked my stone, went down the river, literally down the river so I can avoid the dogs or the wolves, and came up here. And this is where I'm at right now, okay? I just unlocked Bleak Falls Barrow, okay? Alright? Now, we can't join the Fighters Guild, okay? And we can't join the Dark Brotherhood because we're not into killing, alright? Now, this all depends if you want to be a good character or if you just want to be a normal person. So we're going to play this like an average normal person, just we're true pacifists. We don't believe in violence at all, which means we cannot have followers because the followers will engage in fights, okay? So we're not allowed to fight at all. This doesn't mean that we can't, go through the main story and that we can't do side quests like Bleak Falls Barrow and that sort of thing. I'll explain how we do that a little bit later on, okay? But the main story, and even the side story, when you get the Stormcloaks or the Imperials, whichever way you want to go, you can do the whole story. It's just that you're going to be doing the support side. You're going to be someone who is healing other people, right? We're not allowed to cast spells that influence other people to do our bidding. We're not allowed to intentionally lead people into traps to kill people or anything like that, okay? We're not into killing anything, and this includes animals, okay? So we're not killing animals, we're not killing people, we're not killing even the monsters, because this is how people get away with things, is they go, well, okay, I'm going to use Frenzy spell because technically I'm not killing anybody. I'm going to bring a follower with me because technically I'm not killing anybody, so that still makes me a pacifist. No, a real pacifist does not believe in violence, period. Whether it's done by yourself or others. You are the company you keep. So the company we keep, we can get married, right? We can get married, that's not a problem, okay? But the company that we keep is not going to be people that are, how do I put this, that are violent, okay? The company that we keep are going to be peaceful. So like, for other words, I do believe it's over here at Thieves Guild. Now, I'm playing Oblivion right now, so I do apologize if I'm kind of like all over the place because I'm playing Oblivion Remake, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's been a long time since I played this game. But I do believe that there's a temple in here where you get pamphlets, you can hand out pamphlets and that sort of thing. We can do those kind of side quests, okay? Alright? Alright, so we can join the Thieves Guild to up our thieving skills. We can join the College of Winterhold to up our wizard skills, like our magical skills, okay. But we cannot join the Dark Brotherhood, which is somewhere down along here, somewhere over here. And we cannot join, the Fighters Guild, which is in Whiterun, okay. Because those tend to they go against what we are, because that makes us a killer, okay. We're not a killer, alright. Okay, so knowing that, what else can we do with this character, okay? So we can pretty much do anything that we want to. So let's go through the stats, alright? I guess, why not? Let's start with alchemy. We can do this, right, okay? As long as we're doing the side that allows us to heal, okay? 50% resistant to all poisons? Yeah, because we're not hurting anybody, right? And even purify. So if you wanted to, you could 100% this and take the whole thing there, but you can't go up this side on the left because this is all about, applying poisons and that, okay, so you can't do that. But you can go straight up the middle here is what I'm going to call it. You know, like right up this branch here, right? Okay, you can do this, right? And if you want to go all the way to the end, you could if you want to level up your character more, right? I probably would cap it, and I wouldn't go for purifying. I would probably end it with experimenter 1, 2, and 3, or maybe even snake blood. You know, I'd probably go maybe that far, and then that would be it. You know, all right. Now, illusion. We're in this, and yes, we are going to take this because we can get our invisibility spell, and we can get calm others, you know, pacify, things like that. So we're going down the branch that calms people. We're not going to take things that turn people into fear, frenzy, and things like that. So we can do things like animage, kindred, spirit, quiet casting, okay, all right. And here we can do things like hypnotic gaze because it allows us to calm people higher than us, animals and people, okay. We do not do fear, so we don't do any of this stuff here, okay. Mastermind, illusion spells work on undead, daedra, and animations. We could get this if we go down quiet casting, okay. And we go down this branch right here because we can do all of this because all of this allows us to be able to use calm spells on animals, people, quiet casting, and even on daedra and the undead and automations, which is going to help us when it comes to trying to do quests like the Golden Claw, and I'll talk about that here in a second. We can go all the way up this here too because all this is just what level are you casting your spell. We take that as we need it as we go along, okay? We're not into conjuration because we're not into trapping souls or summoning anything or anything like that, so we don't do this. No, we are heavy into restoration. It allows us to heal others, you know, and also allows us to turn the undead so we can, like, you know, turn away undead away from us, okay? So we're in this for basically this kind of spells right here. Recovery, all right, magicka regenerates faster. Avoid death, okay, we can take that. These are just the different levels that we can do. Let's see, ward absorption, no, we're not a mage, so we're not into that. Healing spells also restore stamina, we can do that. Okay, and then now we need this one over here if it'll settle down, thank you. Healing spells are 50% more, we can do that. And what's the one right after that? We can't do this, I mean this is necromancy, right, okay? Oh, hang on, all spells are effective against undead, all spells. Actually, we can do that because that doesn't mean that we're becoming a necromage. What we're doing is we're going to cast calm onto them, okay, so that it affects the undead, okay, so that this way we calm everything around us, okay, all right, so that's what we're doing there. Alteration, we can do this too because this gives us our magical armor, and this also allows us to paralyze other people. We're not hurting anybody, but it allows us to be defensive. What I mean by this, okay, is this, all right. It allows us to take magical armor, which we can do, and it allows us to have magical resistance, which we can do. Okay, all right. And let's just look at this here. Let's just take a quick look at what we can here. We have to be careful with the spells that we take, right? I don't know if we can do paralyze others because that might be considered, you know, that sort of thing. So actually, we're probably just going to take this for the armor, okay, and the magic resistance. All right. So that's what we can do there. We're not into enchanting, we're not into blacksmithing, we're not into armor, we're not into blocking, we're not into two-handed, we're not into one-handed, we're not into archery, we're not into light armor. We can do sneaking, okay? Now, we're not going to go into backstabbing and all that because we're not an assassin, so we're into stealth. We can do this too here, muffle movement, light foot, silent roll, silence, and even this if we want to, okay? Now, I don't recommend going that far with it, really. You know, I think, like, you know, just having stealth, period, that's it, you know? I don't think we really need all of this other stuff, but we could do muffle movement, you know, because that reduces our noise. You know, we could do light foot, so that reduces pressure plates. But silent roll, I don't see where that becomes really effective and useful. And silence, walking and running, does not, cause detection. That would actually be good. So we could do that. So we just might get this so that we can get this. You know what I mean? Shadow Warrior, I just think it's stupid. So I don't even think it's worth getting, to be honest with you. Okay, that's my opinion about how we're doing this build. Lock picking we can do, and I really don't see any reason why you need any of the perks in here because it's pretty easy to pick the locks in this game, okay? Alright. So let me just see if there's something else in here though. Find more golden chests. Okay, maybe we want that because we can get more money. 50% chance of finding special treasure. Yeah, we might want to do that. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Pick starts closer to the lock. That doesn't matter. Unbreakable pick. That doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, no, that's what we'll do. We'll take the golden touch and we'll take the treasure hunter. Okay, and that's all that we need. Allows you to be able to able to pick locks without being noticed. We don't really need this. And making a copy of the key, we don't really need that neither because we're not a thief, We're only doing this to pick locks so that we can get the stuff in treasures and things like that, okay? We're not a thief. I want to make this clear. We're not a thief, okay? We're a pacifist, right? So, pickpocket. Now this is extremely important because this is how we're going to avoid conflict, okay? So even though I said we're not a thief, we've got some thieving abilities here. And this is why I did this, because I decided that this is extremely important in this build. Okay, so we want this, and we have no choice but to take this. And then what we want to do is we want to have cut purse, and we want to have extra pockets, okay? We're not going to take keymaster or poisoned, because that's not who we are, okay? We want misdirection because it allows us to steal the equipment off of the people, right? The weapons. But the real reason why we want it is equipped items. This you're going to need in order to do Bleak Falls Barrow because if you remember, it's the dude, the undead Daedra, who is carrying the stone tablet, right? In order to get the stone tablet, normally you have to kill him. But if you go and look in there, it's actually an item that he carries, right? It's not a weapon, it's an item. So if we 100% our pickpocket, this will allow us to go in there, and we go in there invisible, and we go in there with calm, the Daedra and that, right? Then we can calm him, pacify him, and we can take this stone and give it to Fendel in Whiterun, okay? And we can also get the Dragon Claw and give it to the dude in Riverwood, okay? So we can complete both of those by doing that, okay? Alright, so I'm just telling you what we're doing here because we are a passive build. We can do speech, but we only go here and we don't go anywhere else, okay? That's it. We're just here to haggle, okay? We don't do any of this other stuff because this has nothing to do with being a pacifist, right? So we're just going to do it for that. We can do alchemy, like I said, I think I already covered this, if we go up the right side. And we can go all the way to snake blood, and we're good there. But if you want to, you can go with purify. I don't see why you would want to do that, because we're not making poisons anyway, okay? So hopefully this helps you to understand the kind of spells that we're using, like calm and invisibility, okay? Not fear, okay? We're not doing that kind of stuff, right? We're getting our restoration to be able to heal ourselves and heal other people, and we're getting our alteration to get the magical armor, okay? And yeah, I don't agree with paralyzing, so we're not going to do paralyzing because that's kind of like an aggressive mood, and I don't think we need turn undead because we're not a cleric or a druid or a paladin, so we're not going to have turn undead, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to be using magical armor and that, and we're going to be using calm spells and healing spells on other people and on ourselves, okay? So this is what we're doing with our character, all right? So that's basically everything. We took the Imperial because you get extra money, But the main reason why we took the Imperial is because of the power, the voice of the Emperor, which allows us to calm nearby people for 60 seconds. Okay? So this means everybody chills out, for 60 seconds. Extremely powerful. All right? Okay? Now, I went the route of going with the Thief Stone, which allows us to have our stealth skills go up 20% faster. But I'm actually thinking maybe what we should do with it is do our mages stuff so that we can get the magic up quicker. Okay, all right. So that's the breakdown with it, and so I'm just going down the thieving one right now, and then I'm going to get that up there, and then we could look at maybe doing the magic quicker. And I'm starting to think that maybe the magic might be the better way to do it, because then we can get into all the different spells that we need, and maybe that's what I do is I switch it out, because we have alteration, which gives us our skin, right? Okay, and we have restoration, which gives us our healing, okay, and to heal others, right? And like I said, with the different spells up here, we have restoration, alteration, and illusion are the ones that we're doing. So we got 3 in the thieving, and we got 3 in the magic, so just depends which ones you want to get up there quicker. If you want to get into calm and invisibility in that, then take the mage stone. If you if you want to get the restoration in that up there in alteration, or if you want to instead get your sneaking up there, your lock picking, and your pickpocketing, then you want to go with the thief, right? Okay, the thief stone, because this allows us to be able to pick people's pockets here, right, and have extra pockets, and also allows us to be able to get the stone off of the undead Daedra by picking his pocket. Okay, and so that when it comes to this part here, just so that you understand what I'm doing here, Bleak Falls Barrel, at the end of it, you have this whole room full of Daedra, right? Okay, so what we need to do is get everyone to chill out, so we're going to have the best calm spell around, okay? That's going to affect all the Daedra, right? And then we're going to pick his pocket, and we're going to steal the stone, and then we're going to leave, and then that's it, we're done, okay? And that's what we're going to do there, right? When it comes to joining, either side, you can do whatever you want to with the main story, and the only guilds you want to stay away from are the ones that cause you to kill other people or to harm other people. Remember, we're a true pacifist, not just a pacifist, but a true pacifist. This means you cannot, allow other people to be killed. So what we're doing here, like, let's use Bleak Falls Barrows as an example, right? There are ways around this without doing it. What I see a lot of people do when they go into Bleak Falls Barrow is, just to show you how not to roleplay it, okay? They'll cast a spell like Frenzy, and it'll get everybody to fight for them, okay? But then they still indirectly cause someone to fight for them, right? Okay? So what you do with Bleak Falls Barrel is you calm and chill everybody out. You sneak around everybody, which allows you to bypass everyone. This is why I took the Thief Stone first, right? Okay? And then it allows you to be able to go past people. Now also this means Daedra on that too. We're not to kill anything, okay? So, if you notice when you play the game, there's all these different traps everywhere, right? So what you can do is you can run out of there, like, through the traps and everything like that, right? But you're not causing the other one to follow you. They're following you because they're following you. Do you understand my drift? So you're not intentionally setting off the trap to kill them. They're walking into the trap because they're stupid, and they're killing themselves that way. This way you're not directly or indirectly killing them, because you're not indirectly killing them. Indirectly killing them would be, okay, I'm gonna start up the trap, right? And then I'm going to tease them into the trap. Directly killing them is going up and using a weapon or a spell on them that causes them to kill themselves, and or casting spells like frenzy to get other people to kill for you, right? No, we're true pacifists. We're not to do any of those things. So if you want to see me do some gameplay and show you what I mean by this, hit me up in the comments section if you don't understand what we're doing here, okay? When it comes to the war, we can choose whatever side we want to, but we're not engaging in the war. What we're doing is we're sitting back and healing the soldiers that are on our side, and we're not doing anything to directly or indirectly kill anybody. We're a healer. That's the best way to look at this, right? We're a healer, right? But we're a passive healer is the best way to look at this. There we go. There's a perfect way to put this, okay? The passive build is a healer slash peace type person, okay? So we're not here to do anything to hurt or harm other people, creatures, or beings, anything. So we're not here to hurt or harm anything, okay? We heal the people around us and the animals and things like that, but we're not there to kill them. So when it comes to Bleak Falls Barrows, we go through this, but we go through this without setting off the traps on purpose to kill them. If they're stupid enough to run through the traps, like the blades going back and forth, for example, and that's already activated, okay, and you run through it too, then that's a different story because you already ran through it. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So you were stupid enough to run through it, but you didn't set the trap up and you didn't cause the trap to go off. They did by running through it themselves, coming after you and killed themselves. Okay? So that's a workaround around it because you're not indirectly, doing it neither. Indirectly would be casting a spell on them and that sort of thing to get them to fight one another. Okay? All right? Indirectly would be to have a follower that would be someone like Fendel, for example, who would use a bow and arrow, right? Okay? No, we're not to do that, okay? So we can't have a follower, and we can't have anyone that will, fight and kill on our behalf, and we can't cast magic that will do that kind of stuff. So we can join the Thieves Guild, we can join the College of Winterhold, and that's basically about it, we can't do anything that involves killing people and that, okay? So up around here somewhere there's a mine, right? And there's people around there. So what we can do is go in, sneak in and steal stuff, right? And loot it. So we can loot, all right? We can steal stuff. But what we can't do is kill people and harm them, okay? In any way. We can't harm anyone, okay? And that's what we're doing here. So that's the true passive build. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Hopefully that made sense somehow, okay? So as we play the story, as we play the game, as we go throughout this, that's what we're doing. Now you can do this in Oblivion, and if you want an Oblivion build for it, let me know in the comments section down below so I can tell you what attributes you're going to take and that sort of thing, right? Ideally, if you can find the stone that's, I think it's somewhere around here, that gives you the ability to up all of your skills at 20%, the one I'm thinking of, then go to that stone and take that one, because then you can do the thieving and the magic at the same time, and they'll up at 20%, both of them, right? Okay. All right, so that's basically in a nutshell what we're doing here, guys. So we're just running around scavenging stuff, and doing everything in a peaceful manner that doesn't cause us to directly or indirectly kill anything. And I mean anything. This means animals, creatures, the undead, even though they're already undead, technically they're already dead, right? Okay. Or even like Daedra and that kind of stuff, and even casting spells that cause them to fight one another. We're not doing that, okay? I see that people do that in the main story. Now, if you want to see me play this through, because you're curious as to how I would bypass this and how I would get through the main story, here's a little hint about the main story. When it comes to this part in Whiterun, when you go to the tower that's somewhere over here, right? Okay, what you would do is you would go to the tower and you would let them fight the dragon. You wouldn't fight the dragon, okay? and then you would loot the dragon's body after it was dead, and everybody would ask you to do the Thum and everything like that and the whole bit. Now understand, when it comes to Thums and that, the only ones we're using are the stuff that's passive. If it's anything that causes someone to die, like if we use the voice, to um, throw someone backwards, we can't use that because that person could die and they could seriously hurt themselves. So we can't do that kind of Thum, okay? We can do it to get through that part of the story because we're not hurting anybody, right? But when it comes right down to it as like, self-defense or anything like that, we can't do it because there's always that ability that we can knock someone off a mountain and then they could die, right? So we're not there to hurt or harm anybody, okay? So when it comes to the war at the end of the game, where each faction is warring against each other, you're there healing people. That's it. You're not there hurting anybody. You're not to fight anyone, period, at all. You're not to participate in fighting at all, okay? So we're there to heal them. So we're a healer slash pacifist, right? Okay, that's how we do it. We do it on the side of healing people, okay? All right, we're not taking lives and we're not hurting anyone, okay? So this is why it's a true passive build. So I hope that makes sense now. And yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more about this, let me know. And I'll be more than happy to do it for you. Let me just see, do I have one here? No, I don't have a save here, okay. I'll make a save now so we have a save done and we don't have to worry about it. There we go. And then this way, if you have any questions or that, if you want to see it in the works, I can do that for you. I'm also not doing quest markers and that too. Now, in terms of game difficulty, you can play it on whatever difficulty you want to, okay? All right, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Legendary is better, this, or that. You play it on whatever difficulty you feel that you want to play it on. But I can tell you this right now. I did this a long time ago, okay? I did it on Legendary, so you can do it on Legendary if you want to. It's just more frustrating because the higher up you go in difficulty, the more tankier the enemy gets, right? And the less damage you do. Well, we're not looking at doing damage ourselves, but the more tankier they get and the more quicker you will die, So you could do this on adept or higher. You could do this on the 1-to-1 ratio because you're not going to die too fast, So when it comes to the story part of the mode, we make our way up to Whiterun. Okay, we can loot all the farms around here and that. And when the giant fight is going on, we could use cast spells on other people, to help them out. You know what I mean? Right? Okay. But they ask us to join the companions. We're not going to join the companions. Okay. All right. So that's it. Hopefully it made sense. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.